Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing to you an older project recipe. This project recipe came out in 2020 for a collection called Winter Woods. It's really one of my most favorite winter collections that we've come out with, and it just had such warm colors that everything just worked together so beautifully in this collection. It was one of my favorites. Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and share the project recipe with you because it is pretty easy and pretty cool to put together. This uses our tree line punch, so if you have this one in your stash, pull it out. We're going to use it today. If you don't, then you're just going to need a punch that is connected to your page, so it's an edge punch, not a chain punch, and find something that you like that applies to the papers that you're using. But I'm going to go ahead and use the Winter Woods collection because again, it's one of my favorites. It has these beautiful green and brown tones to it. We're going to build our pages on some hot fudge cardstock. So I've got 2 pages of hot fudge cardstock out here. Then I've also got 3 designer sheets, this beautiful dark green marble and the brown gingham and the green plaid. This is not a gingham, this is a plaid. So these are the 3 I'm going to use today with my brown cardstock, and then we'll get to all of these extra embellishments in a little bit. I just have my stickers and some embellishments I selected from the pack, and then a couple of mats that I thought we might play with and see where we might want those. So until we get there, I'm just going to scoot these off to the side, and eventually we'll get to those. All right, so let me just show you the project recipe here first off. Here we go. And this came out in November of 2020, like I said already. We have the 3 sheets of designer paper represented by the green, the blue, and the peach. And we're going to start by cutting our marble sheet into 2 4.5 by 12-inch strips. So I'm just going to set this off to the side over here and grab my trimmer. I'm going to set my papers off to the side as well until I can get them trimmed. So we're going to cut this one first. This one's going to be 4.5 by 12. Since it's not a directional sheet, I don't really have to worry about which way it's going, but I am going to use my grid lines to make sure my paper is straight. I can use my bumper also at the top or at the bottom. So 2 sheets that are 4.5 by 12, and then that sheet is extra. Setting these aside here, I'm going to grab my brown gingham sheet, and I'm going to, pardon me, I'm going to cut a 4 1/4 piece. So 4 1/4, and I'm going to cut that off at 6 inches. So 6. So I have 2 mats that are 4 1/4 by 6. And I'm going to cut 2 more that are 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. Again, cutting this in half at 6. So those are 4 mats that we're going to use, and then we're going to punch the rest of this paper. So I'm just going to leave it right there until we get to it. I'm going to grab my green plaid paper up here, and I'm going to cut this at 4.5. Turning it and cutting it at 6. adding it to my mat stack over here. Then I'm also going to cut 2 1.5 inch strips. And for this, I'm going to use my measurements on the right-hand side of my trimmer so that I have the shoulder across the top to keep my paper nice and straight, and I can watch my grid line over here and make sure my paper is straight. So there's a 1.5 and another 1.5, and then we're going to stack these so that we can shorten them just a tad bit. So 2 1.5 strips, one right on top of the other, and they're both going to be cut at 7.5 inches. So we're going to find our 7.5 inch mark out here and trim these ends off, which we don't need. All right, so we need those. We'll set those over there. Then what we're going to do is punch, and we're going to punch 4 strips, 2 out of each of these, and we're going to use our punch. If you've never used a Creative Memories punch before, just a quick refresher, there are these 2 marks on the front. You're going to align the edge of your paper with one or the other, and then you're going to feed it through. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to utilize this mark on the left-hand side and align the edge of my paper here with that mark, and the edge of my paper here is pushed against this back shoulder area on the wing of the punch. So I'm just going to line it up and then punch. Then I'm going to feed it through and make the pattern match the blue pattern on the wing. You see that? Okay, so when it matches the blue pattern on the wing, I just punch it and then keep feeding it through until I've done all the punches all the way across. It's a little easier when you have a punch like this one, because if you'll notice, I have tall trees and I have short trees. So that helps me to align my pattern correctly. When you don't have a punch that has a differentiating mark like that, it does make it a little bit trickier. So I'm going to turn my paper over, I'm going to punch it again so that I end up with 2 strips. I'm going to do the same thing with my with my brown gingham fabric so that I have 2 strips of the punched design. Okay, so there's that one. We're going to do this one, again aligning it with the mark in the front and pushing it to the border in the back. Okay, just turning it. We got one more to do, and then we will trim these. Got some other crafters down here in the room with me today. They're trying to be really quiet. Hello!
Thank you all for watching.
That's my daughter Emily.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay. So we've got that. Now we're going to just trim these up very quickly. Both of these are going to need to be trimmed to 1.5 inches. When it asks you to when the instructions ask you to trim a punched edge to a specific length. What they mean is to put the tallest point on your trimmed area to the measurement that they're asking for. So this one is asking for 1.5 inches. Oh, okay. So whichever one you are cutting out of the brown plaid, this one actually is meant to be 1.25 inches. I was off. The other one that I cut with the green plaid is going to be 1.5 inches. And I'm going to find that it's easier to just go ahead and line up this edge. I know that the edge of my cutting mat is 1/4 inch, so I'm just going to line that up and cut it that way. But it's moving. See that? See that? How that moved? Darn it. All right. So the trick for that, remember, is to just go ahead and put a little repositionable adhesive on the back of your piece that you're trimming, and place it on your trimmer, and then it will stay in place while you're trying to trim it. Because you see mine, and it's even off just that way. Okay, hang on a second. Here we go. So I'm just going to put the tips of my tallest trees at the 1 1/4 mark, and stick that down. That way I can trim this without having it move. Going slow helps too. When you get in a hurry like I was just a second ago, it just doesn't bode well. Okay, so this strip is going to be 1 1/4. So 1 1/4. I'm putting all of my tall trees at 1 1/4, and I've got more for my guide to hold on to than just that tiny little bit, so that worked out better. All right, so I've got a 1 inch strip that's extra. I've got my punched strip that's trimmed. Now this one is going to be at 1 1/2. Yeah. And the reason that you're doing 2 different measurements is because one's going to sit in front of the other one. So we've got this one at 1 1/2. Turning this around. And again, we're cutting that at 1 1/2. All right, so that's extra. There we go. All right, we have all of our pieces. So let's grab our cardstock and we will get this put together. All right, I'm gonna move this so I can see my picture, because I am much better with looking at the picture and putting it all together. You can see the picture there too. And if this were live, you could scream out to me when I'm doing it wrong. But it's not live, so I'm left to my own devices. Sort of. Alright, so I'm going to turn this. Just squeezing this in so you can see both edges. Alright, so our marble pieces are going to go vertically. They're going to go right on the end of our layout. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere them first so that they can stay right in place. See this lovely wood paper that's on the back of the marble? I'm telling you, this whole collection is just lovely. If you have this in your stash, get it out and use it. I don't know if maybe you already have. I used all of mine and then bought some more because I really liked it. So I've got it to use and share with you now. Just really, really pretty. Okay. Of course, if you're not familiar with my channel, I should tell you also, I live in Utah. So we have lots of wintry days and outdoors things going on during the winter. I don't know, I'm not always a huge participant in the outdoor things during the winter, but my husband loves to ski and do all kinds of that type of thing during the winter, so it's all good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this piece down, and I'm already seeing where I think I may have led us astray, so let me just take a quick look at our instructions. And yeah, I believe I was supposed to adhere different pieces before we put this one on. So we're already gonna have some redoing. That's okay, we'll figure it out. I got excited to do that. All right, so I'm just adhering these short strips, the ones that we trimmed to 7.5 inches. They both go right here. Then we're going to take our punched pieces, these right here, and these are going to line up such that we're going to have this piece, the one that that I had some adhesive on. I'm going to add some adhesive to this one because this one doesn't have any. This piece that's shorter, the one that we cut at 1 1/4, remember, this piece gets adhered to the front of the other one, just right along that cut edge, except that that's not true either. Hang on. You'll notice in the picture, the trees in the background are offset. So we need to offset these trees also and put them in between the other ones. You see that? So that we can see the ones behind better. Just like that. Which is why we trim this and we don't use the whole strip. But this is going to go right here on top of the other. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and use my repositionable adhesive, and I don't need to put it really all the way across, even though I just did. And I'm going to use my all-purpose tool. I'm going to pop up this marble piece that I put down already so that I can adhere my trees right on top of my green plaid piece. And you can, it doesn't matter what hangs off the edge over here because we're going to trim that. And it doesn't matter if it goes all the way over here because we're going to cover that up. Just like that. Okay. So now we're going to assemble this one. And I'm just going to add a little more adhesive to this so that it's tucking my adhesive under because I got a little bit crazy. And remembering that I need to offset my design so I can see all the trees in the back. Okay, just like that. Adding some more adhesive. And once again, we're going to lift up our marble. Good thing we just barely set that down and realized that there was an issue so that we could fix it. Okay. There we go. All right, so we've got that. Now I'm going to grab those mats that we trimmed, and we're going to do a couple things with these. Okay, so we're going to use these larger mats, the ones that match our bottom edge right here. These are going to go right here. And then we're going to use the other mat to actually go around the photo, and it's gonna be centered on the page, just like that. So we're gonna make those at the same height on both sides, and then we're going to again pull this one out about 3/4 of an inch or so. Okay, and then these mats go above it and closer to the center. Actually, according to our design, they come right off the middle. I'm not sure I would put them right on the edge. I think I would leave a little bit of an edge, but same kind of thing. And then we've got photos that go on these end pieces as well. So let me show you the measurements of the photos that are going to go on here so you have a better idea. Okay, so we've got 5 3/4 by 3 1/2, and that's going to be the photo that goes in this mounted piece right here. Okay, 5 3/4 by 3 1/2 on that mat. All right, and then we've got 5 3/4 by 4, which is going to go on this mat right here. We might move that over just a smidge. There we go. Okay, so 5 3/4 by 4. Because those aren't stuck down, they keep shifting on me, but you know what I'm doing. There you go. All right, and then on these strips out here, you've got a 4 by 6. So 4 by 6 goes on the bottom or on the top, depending on how you want to arrange it. And you got a 5 1/4 by 4. So 4 by 5 1/4 and 4 by 6. And then you can do, oh, I must have pulled, oh, there we go. I've got 2 here. Okay, so you could do a 4 by 6 up here on top and a 5 1/4 by 4 on the bottom. You could do them both the same. You can do them both different, like I've got them here. Okay, something along that line. And then we need some embellishing. So I've got these 2 mats that I really liked. These are 4 by 6, I believe. Let me just measure them to make sure. But yeah, 4 by 6. So these are both 4 by 6. So they would be perfect to take the place of one of these vertical pieces. So you could put one of those in either one or the other, or you could probably use both if you wanted to. Or you could trim them down and use them in the 5 3/4 by 3 1/2 area. These mats are really cool because on both sides they print them either horizontally or vertically, so you can use them however it suits you and make your page exactly the way you want it. Okay, so we've got that, and we've got these wonderful, wonderful embellishments that are just so cute. We've got a lantern. We can use another this is a tag with a saying on it, which we could use in to take the place of one of these photos at the top. Maybe we could offset that or center it, and then add in some greenery and the lamp. Maybe add a snowflake. Where's a snowflake? Here's one. We could even add a snowflake kind of off the top up there, something like that. We could add, we've got these great pieces of wood that we can use that are going to go down here maybe, and then a tag, warm winter wishes. Maybe what we should do is add this one kind of over here, and this one kind of up here off the side of a photo. We can pop that up with some foam squares and make it look super cute. I've got this sled too, which I think is just darling. Maybe we ought to use that instead. We could use the sled. We could use some greenery. We could use a snowflake. Maybe put all of those together and kind of set them right in there. We'll pop them up with, if we pop them up with foam squares, then you can fit the pictures underneath it so they accent the photos. We've got some really nice gold accented embellishments that go along with this collection. So just some really fun different things you could put together to accent your page. I've got another snowflake over here I think we'll use. So I'll finish this up and post the final photo so you can see what it looks like. But I just wanted to double check and see. It looks like there is one more piece that we have neglected, and that is along this seam right here. We have a border sticker that was added. And so in this collection there are pine cones, there's a wood grain, there are some more trees. I think I would be inclined to use even these trees, even though I only have one strip of them, and I could just go ahead and add it in and put half on each side. So let me show you what that's going to look like. I'm going to use my scissors and trim off the sides. Remember how we said we were going to do that, and I skipped that step again. I think I'm a little scatterbrained today. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we've got those sides trimmed. Then what I'm going to do is just take off this border sticker, and I'm going to measure carefully where the 6-inch mark is, which is going to be right here between those two trees. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it right in half. Now you could cut it in half, or you could put your 2 pages together and add the sticker in and then cut it. It's up to you how you want to do that, but I am going to just do it this way this time. And by doing this, I'm kind of leaving a portion of it exposed. So I'm just going to let me put these pages together so I can make sure that that's pretty much where it needs to be. There we go. That'll work. And then because I have this area exposed right here, what I could do really is put my embellishments right over that spot. Right? So I've got my cute little sled. I've got my cute little sled on my outdoor adventure. Kind of accent it all together down here, like so. And then over here, I can put my wood and my other snowflake, or whatever. I'm not sure I'm going to put that snowflake in there. I might want to put something different. I don't know. I didn't really pull out a lot of extra things. Let me see if I have a sticker that might work better there that we could put. We could put a snowman. He's kind of cute. I think we'll put the snowman there because we're talking about snow. We've got a sled. We could add Mr. Snowman to our layout. Just like that. And maybe use this one over here instead of this rounded one. I like that better. All right, just some ideas, but you get the picture. And I will go ahead and finish this up without the dimensions for your photos, and show you how it turns out. All right. I hope you've enjoyed joining me for this particular layout project recipe today, and I hope that even though it's a busy time of year with all the holidays, that you'll find many more creative moments. Thanks so much. You have a great day.